Hello, beautiful souls. Today I want to talk to you about a journey we all must take. Not to a faraway place, not to some distant land, but within. Within ourselves. You see, there's a power within each of us, a quiet, undeniable strength. And often it lies waiting for us to notice it, waiting for us to unlock it. Now, this journey isn't easy. Life throws things our way: heartbreak, disappointment, times when it feels like everything is just too much. Those moments can make us feel small, as if we have no control. But here's what I want you to know: those very moments are opportunities. They are a calling, a gentle nudge, sometimes a fierce push to turn inward and find that strength that's been there all along. You've had it since the day you were born. That power isn't reserved for some elite few. It's your birthright. It's already within you. But so often we let the world convince us otherwise. We let other people's opinions, expectations, and doubts bury that power. We let fear keep us in a box that was never meant to hold us. So I'm here to tell you this: you have more power in you than you can imagine. But to unlock it, you must believe in it. Believe that you're worthy of it. This power within you wants to be felt, it wants to be seen, and it wants to be used for the good, not only of yourself, but of everyone around you. Unlocking it means trusting yourself, even when it feels like the world doesn't. It means having faith that you're more than any mistake you've ever made. It means knowing that you don't need anyone else's permission to be the person you were born to be, because you are enough exactly as you are. This isn't a journey about finding yourself, it's about remembering who you are. When you unlock that power within you, you begin to see possibilities where before there were walls. You find courage in situations that once made you feel small. And most of all, you find a sense of peace, a calm certainty that no one can take away. Your power lies within you, not outside of you. It's something that's always been there, woven into the very fabric of who you are. This power isn't dependent on anyone else. It's independent of your surroundings, your circumstances, even the opinions and judgments of others. You see, in today's world, it's easy to forget that. We're constantly told where to look, who to follow, what to believe. Society has a way of conditioning us to look outward for everything we need to seek answers, approval, and permission from everyone around us. But the truth is, the moment we start searching outside ourselves for validation, we drift farther and farther from the truth of who we are. The power we seek isn't something we acquire, it's something we awaken. This power within is quiet yet unbreakable. It's a force that doesn't waver, even in the face of doubt, fear, or failure. And we all have it. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you've been through, or where you're headed. Your power is intrinsic. It's the essence of your being. But sometimes life's trials can obscure this truth. We go through pain, loss, and moments of feeling completely lost. And those experiences make it easy to believe we're powerless, that we're at the mercy of circumstances beyond our control. In those moments, it feels like life is happening to us, not for us. But I want you to think about something every time you've overcome a challenge, every time you've faced a fear, every time you've picked yourself up after falling. That was your power in action. That was your inner strength showing itself even when you couldn't see it. It's not that you ever lost it, it's that you weren't aware of it. The beauty of this power is that it's always waiting for you to recognize it. You don't have to search for it, you simply have to acknowledge it. And this doesn't mean being strong every moment or never feeling afraid. It's about trusting that even when things get tough, you have the resilience to keep going. That resilience is your power. But we can't access it if we're constantly looking outward, believing that we need someone else to help us find our way. You already have everything you need within you to create, to overcome, to thrive. The key is to stop giving that power away. We give away our power in so many subtle ways. We allow others to dictate our worth. We let fear hold us back from our dreams. We let setbacks convince us that we're not capable. But these are illusions, distractions that keep us from realizing our true potential. When we place our worth in someone else's hands, we diminish ourselves. When we give fear the steering wheel, we lose sight of the path that's meant for us. And every time we let a setback define us, we chip away at our own strength. But here's the thing, none of these external factors can touch your power unless you allow them to. Your power is unbreakable, and it's yours to protect. Learning to tap into that inner power is a practice. It takes awareness, commitment, and a willingness to let go of the need for external validation. We often feel we need someone to tell us we're good enough, that we're on the right path, that we have permission to be who we are. But the truth is, you don't need anyone's permission to step into your own power. It's yours by right, and no one can take it from you. The moment you stop looking outside for approval is the moment you'll begin to see the strength that's always been within you. This doesn't mean you won't face challenges or moments of self-doubt. It means that when those moments come, you'll have an anchor within you that keeps you steady. You'll have a source of strength that doesn't depend on the opinions of others, on circumstances, or on success. Your power is the part of you that believes in yourself even when it feels like no one else does. It's the voice that says, keep going even when the path isn't clear. It's the resilience that rises up in the face of obstacles, that quiet confidence that whispers, I am enough, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. And that's the key. This power is not loud or boastful. It doesn't need to shout to be heard. It's a calm assurance, a knowing, a steady force that remains unmoved by life's storms. It doesn't seek validation because it knows its own worth. It doesn't shrink in the face of fear because it knows that fear is only temporary, but this power is eternal. Embracing this power means learning to trust yourself fully, even in the face of uncertainty. It means recognizing that you are your own source of strength and that you have everything you need within you. This doesn't mean you won't need guidance, support, or encouragement from others. We all need a helping hand at times. But there's a difference between receiving support and depending on it. True power means standing on your own 2 feet, knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be okay because your strength comes from within, not from anything outside of you. This journey of unlocking your power is a process. It's not something you do once and then forget about. It's a daily practice, a choice to believe in yourself, to stand in your own truth, and to let go of the need for approval. Every time you choose to believe in your own worth, every time you trust your own instincts, every time you honor your own path, you're strengthening that power within you. It becomes a part of you, something you can rely on, something that carries you through whatever life may bring. And over time, you'll find that this power isn't just a part of you, it is you. It's the truest, most authentic version of yourself, the part of you that's unafraid, unshakable, and unbreakable. Life's challenges are opportunities to discover your inner strength. They're not just obstacles thrown in our way to slow us down, but rather stepping stones that lead us deeper into ourselves. Each of us has encountered moments when life feels overwhelming, times when things don't go according to plan, and days when it seems the whole world is pressing down on us. And yet, if you look closely, if you allow yourself to see it, there's something profoundly transformative hidden within each of these challenges. The difficult moments are often where we uncover strength we never even knew we had. They teach us, they shape us, and ultimately they guide us to a deeper understanding of who we truly are. Think back to a time when you faced something tough, a moment that tested you in a way you hadn't been tested before. Maybe it was the loss of someone dear to you, maybe it was a career setback, maybe it was a relationship that didn't work out. Whatever it was in that moment, you probably felt as though the world was collapsing, like you were left standing alone with no clear path forward. It's natural to feel that way because challenges shake us up, they take us out of our comfort zones and into unknown territory. But even though it's uncomfortable, there's something powerful that happens when we're pushed to our limits. There's a resilience that rises up within us, often quietly, that whispers, keep going. It may not feel like much at first, but that voice, that strength, is a part of us we don't always tap into until life forces us to. It's easy to walk through life feeling strong when everything is going our way, but real strength, true, lasting strength emerges when we're forced to confront the parts of life that don't go according to plan. That's when we find out who we really are. In those difficult moments, we're given a choice. We can let the challenge break us, or we can allow it to build us. Every time we choose to face a challenge head on, every time we decide to get back up after being knocked down, we grow. We don't just overcome the difficulty, we become stronger because of it. And that's a strength no one can take away from us. This inner strength is not about pretending everything is okay when it isn't. It's not about putting on a brave face or denying the pain we're going through. It's about finding the courage to face the pain, to feel it, to acknowledge it, and to still find a way to move forward. That's where true strength lies. It's in the willingness to keep going, even when every part of us wants to give up. It's in the moments when we decide to rise above our circumstances, not because we have to, but because something within us refuses to stay down. This kind of strength doesn't come from outside validation, from someone telling us we can do it. It comes from a quiet, unwavering belief in ourselves. Challenges have a way of showing us what we're made of. They strip away the superficial, the parts of ourselves that are rooted in ego or pride, and they bring us face to face with our own resilience. And sometimes it's only through adversity that we get to see just how resilient we really are. We learn to trust ourselves, to rely on our own abilities, and to believe in our capacity to handle whatever comes our way. These experiences, as difficult as they may be, become a part of us. They shape us not by hardening us, but by deepening our understanding of our own strength. They teach us that we're capable of more than we ever imagined, that we can face life's storms and still come out standing. Each challenge we face is like a weight we lift, a test of our endurance and resolve. Just as our muscles grow stronger through resistance, our inner strength grows through the trials we endure. And over time, we come to see these challenges as part of our growth, not as things that happen to us, but as opportunities to discover parts of ourselves we might never have known. We learn to appreciate the journey, not just the destination, because we know that each step, each struggle is contributing to the person we're becoming. And it's this process, this journey through difficulty, that reveals to us our own courage, resilience, and power. Life's challenges also teach us about humility. They remind us that we're human, that we don't have all the answers, and that sometimes we need to surrender to the unknown. There's a certain grace in recognizing that we don't have to have it all figured out, that it's okay to not be okay, and that strength isn't about having everything under control. Strength is about being willing to keep moving forward, even when we're uncertain. It's about trusting that, even in the midst of chaos, there's a purpose to our pain and a reason for our struggles. When we start to view challenges as opportunities, we shift our mindset. Instead of seeing ourselves as victims of circumstance, we start to see ourselves as active participants in our own growth. We recognize that we have a choice in how we respond to life's difficulties. And while we may not be able to control everything that happens to us, we can control how we react. That reaction, that response, is where our power lies. It's in choosing resilience over resignation, courage over fear, and faith over doubt. It's in refusing to let a setback define us or to let a failure diminish our sense of self-worth. The truth is, every challenge we face is an invitation to step into a higher version of ourselves. It's an opportunity to look within, to discover what we're really capable of, and to rise above our limitations. It's a reminder that we're stronger than we think, braver than we believe, and more resilient than we could ever imagine. This journey isn't always easy, and it's not always pleasant, but it's through these challenges that we grow into the fullness of who we are meant to be. We learn to trust ourselves, to believe in our own strength, and to stand tall in the face of adversity. In time, as we face and overcome these challenges, we begin to see them not as obstacles, but as gifts. They become a part of our story, a testament to our resilience, and a source of inspiration for ourselves and others. We learn that we're not defined by the challenges we face, but by how we respond to them. And in this response, we find a strength that cannot be shaken, a strength that comes not from the absence of difficulty, but from our ability to rise above it. Through every challenge, we discover the power that lies within us, a power that was there all along, waiting to be revealed. Believe in your worth. You are enough exactly as you are. In a world that constantly tells us who we should be, how we should look, and what we should accomplish, the simple truth that you are enough as you are can feel almost revolutionary. We're surrounded by messages, both subtle and overt, that encourage us to seek validation outside ourselves, to strive for approval, to be better, stronger, or more. But underneath all of this noise, there's a quiet truth, a deep knowing that each one of us is complete just as we are. This isn't about perfection or being free of flaws. It's about embracing the idea that your value isn't defined by anyone else's standards, that you are worthy simply by being you. From a young age, we're conditioned to think that our worth is something we need to prove. We're graded, evaluated, and constantly compared to others. We learn to measure ourselves against the accomplishments of those around us, often allowing their success or opinions to shape how we feel about ourselves. This need for validation can become so ingrained that we don't even realize we're chasing it. We look for affirmation in relationships, careers, and even on social media, hoping that others will confirm what we so desperately want to believe, that we're good enough. But the truth is, no amount of external validation will ever satisfy that need if we don't first believe it for ourselves. Your worth isn't something that anyone else can give or take away. When you start to believe in your own worth, you begin to see yourself in a new light. You realize that you don't need to change who you are to fit into someone else's idea of what's worthy or successful. Instead, you start to understand that your worth is intrinsic. It's part of who you are, not something you earn or lose. And once you recognize that, you're no longer at the mercy of others' opinions or approval. This doesn't mean you don't care about others or that you're dismissive of feedback. It means that your sense of self-worth is no longer dependent on whether others validate it. You can stand firmly in your truth, knowing that you are enough regardless of what anyone else might say. This self-belief isn't about arrogance or thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about having a quiet confidence, a steady assurance that you are valuable simply because you exist. This confidence allows you to move through the world with a sense of purpose, not because you have something to prove, but because you know that you are worthy of the life you're living. You don't have to achieve more, be more, or do more to be deserving of love, respect, and happiness. You are enough as you are. This doesn't mean you won't grow, evolve, or strive to improve, but your worth isn't tied to those things. Growth becomes something you do because you want to, not because you feel you have to in order to be worthy. Believing in your worth means accepting all parts of yourself, even the ones you might consider flawed or imperfect. We all have parts of ourselves that we wish were different. Maybe it's a trait we wish we didn't have, a mistake we wish we hadn't made, or an aspect of our appearance we wish we could change. But part of believing in your worth is learning to accept these parts of yourself, to embrace them as part of the unique individual that you are. It's about seeing the beauty in your imperfections and understanding that they don't make you any less valuable. In fact, it's often our flaws and vulnerabilities that make us relatable, that allow us to connect with others on a deeper level. When you truly believe in your worth, you become less affected by the judgments and expectations of others. You no longer feel the need to seek approval or validation from people who may not even see your true value. This doesn't mean you won't care what others think. It simply means that their opinions no longer hold the power to define your self-worth. You can listen to feedback with an open heart, but ultimately you know that your value doesn't hinge on anyone else's perception of you. You become free to live your life according to your own values and beliefs, rather than constantly trying to meet someone else's expectations. This sense of self-worth empowers you to set boundaries, to say no when you need to, and to protect your own well-being. When you believe in your worth, you recognize that you don't have to tolerate behavior that doesn't honor your value. You don't have to stay in relationships, jobs, or situations that don't align with your sense of self-respect. This doesn't mean you become self-centered or selfish. It means that you understand that you deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And when you hold yourself to that standard, you begin to attract people and experiences that honor and respect you in return. Believing in your worth also changes the way you treat yourself. Instead of being your own harshest critic, you become your own best friend. You give yourself the same kindness, patience, and understanding that you would offer to someone you care about. You stop judging yourself so harshly for every mistake and start to see your missteps as part of your journey, as valuable learning experiences that contribute to your growth. This self-compassion allows you to move through life with greater ease, to let go of perfectionism, and to accept yourself as a work in progress. You understand that you don't have to have it all figured out, that it's okay to make mistakes, and that these moments don't diminish your worth. When you believe in your worth, you start to attract opportunities and relationships that align with this sense of self-value. You no longer settle for less than you deserve, because you know what you bring to the table. This doesn't mean you'll never face rejection or disappointment, but it means that you won't let these experiences define you. Instead, you'll see them as redirections, as signs that something better is on the way. You trust that you are worthy of good things and that they will come to you in their own time. This faith in yourself and in your own worth creates a sense of inner peace, a calm knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. This journey to believing in your worth isn't always easy. It's a process that requires self-reflection, patience, and often a willingness to unlearn the messages you've been told about what makes a person valuable. It may mean letting go of certain relationships or environments that don't support your growth. It may mean facing your fears, stepping outside your comfort zone, and challenging the limiting beliefs that have kept you from fully embracing your worth. But every step you take on this journey is a step toward a deeper, more authentic relationship with yourself. As you begin to embrace your worth, you start to see that you are more than enough just as you are. You realize that you don't need to earn anyone's approval or prove your value. You see that your worth is constant, unchanging, and independent of any external measure. This realization gives you the freedom to live a life that's true to who you are, a life that's guided by your own inner compass rather than by the expectations of others. You understand that you are whole, complete, and valuable exactly as you are, and that's a truth that no one can take away. Trust yourself without waiting for validation from others. Trusting yourself is one of the most empowering decisions you can make. When you rely on your own judgment and your own sense of direction, you step into a new level of freedom and personal strength. In a world that constantly pulls us in different directions, that tells us who to be and what to think, trusting yourself becomes a quiet act of courage. It means choosing to believe in your ability to navigate your own life, to make your own choices, and to stand by them, regardless of what others may say or think. This kind of trust isn't about never making mistakes or always knowing the right answer. It's about being willing to listen to your own intuition, to follow your own path, even when it goes against the grain. Too often we look for validation outside of ourselves. We want someone else to tell us we're doing the right thing, that we're on the right path, or that we're good enough. This need for external approval can become so ingrained that we don't even realize we're looking for it. We hesitate to make decisions without consulting others, fearing that we might make the wrong choice. But here's the truth: no one else knows what's best for you better than you do. No one else has lived your life, experienced your journey, or understands your dreams and desires as deeply as you do. Trusting yourself means recognizing that you already have the answers within you. It's about tuning out the noise, quieting the doubts, and listening to that inner voice that knows what you truly want and need. Self-trust doesn't mean that you'll never feel uncertain or that you'll always be free of self-doubt. There will be moments when you question yourself, when you wonder if you're making the right choice, and when fear tries to convince you that you're not ready. But trusting yourself is about moving forward despite these doubts. It's about knowing that even if things don't go exactly as planned, you have the strength and resilience to handle whatever comes your way. This kind of confidence doesn't come from always being right. It comes from knowing that you're capable of learning and growing from every experience. It's a belief that you can make mistakes and still be okay, that you can face setbacks and still move forward. When you start to trust yourself, you stop needing constant validation from others. You become more comfortable in your own skin, more at ease with your own choices, and more secure in your own worth. This doesn't mean you'll never seek advice or support from those you trust. It simply means that you won't feel dependent on their approval. You'll be able to take their input into consideration, but ultimately, you'll make decisions based on what feels right for you. This shift in perspective changes everything. You start to approach life with a sense of empowerment and ownership. You take responsibility for your choices and accept the consequences, knowing that they're a reflection of your own values and desires, not someone else's.